morning, everybody. My name's Miriam Divine, and welcome to another one of my readings. This is the full moon reading. I think it might be full moon in Gemini or something. I don't know. It's December 4th, and it's right at 5 a.m. in the morning. And I had the most, this card's important for us, but I had the most interesting full moon working. As you can see, all of this stuff around, and we're going to talk about it a little bit as we do a reading. And this is going to be a little bit longer than normal. We're not going to use these candles. I'm going to put them off to the top. I don't know if I can use any candles. Now we got several little piles of jewelry. This is my typical jewelry that I wear, and I'm going to put on my my evil eye protection and my communication. No, I'm not going to wear my communication bracelet of communication. Maybe another day, not today. This is my jewelry that I wear when I do major workings with Hecate. And last night was a major working with Hecate. At the beginning of November, the Witch's New Year, right after October 31st, I started my light path, where I started working with light entities and light beings and my own light soul. And yeah, that path has started. I've cooked star energy recently, and I'm going to go ahead and put my Hecatean jewelry back on. I wore it last night, partly for the working and partly not. This is my dark. This is obsidian. I believe this is a moonstone, I believe, but this one's obsidian. And I view these as Hecate's torches of protection. She carries two torches. One is white, one is black, and she carries the one in her left and one on her right in two of her hands. And the black one is mercy. It is protection. It is the dark aspects of Hecate. It is embodiment of mercy, however. The white is severity. It is the white aspects of her. And if you really pay attention to these aspects, you'll realize that mercy and severity really do work. And they are true as far as the white and the darkness. And this is the ring. It's kind of a strange ring. It's not anything magical or special or made out of anything fancy. I think I picked it up for like, $1 or $2. But it represents Hecate's red aspects. And we have two different sides of this ring, right? A lot of times I wear this side for transformation with the butterflies out. And I wear this side for just general feeling of goodness of the earth. This is a very earthy type feel ring, very middle worldish, her guide ring. Now this is, this one is silver. As you can see, it's all tarnished. I really got to clean it. And I think the stones, they're semi-precious, not anything fancy. I can't remember what they are anymore. They're not, they might be dark moonstones, I think, but I don't think so. They might be something else, but I have to look it up. But I wear this one in two parts. I don't know why. That's the way it came. And this is her protection, more dark aspects, her underworld aspects. This is the middle world. This is protection. And this one, of course, is probably my fanciest ring of hers, which is, I believe this is all 24 karat white with a really beautiful, I don't remember if it's moonstone, but it might be some type of like white amethyst or something, but it has diamonds and stuff in it. That's probably my fanciest ring for her. And that's for her white aspects, for her knowledge, for her upper world, working in heaven. And this is her, I guess it's my devotee ring. It's not anything fancy. It's just a ring that I use and keep it generally on her liminal space. This is outside of the other three spaces. This is where her home, her temple is, that kind of thing. And so now, this is going to be a long reading. And my voice is going to break in this thing too. I can feel it. Have a cup of tea here. And I know this is getting off to a really slow start, and generally my big readings kind of do. So last night was a very interesting working. I have a good friend of mine, and I'm not going to give her name here, but she has been one of my guides for a long, long time now, for years, more than 2 or 3, maybe even just as long as since I found Hecate back in the end of 2019, when Hecate came to me, kind of, or I came to Hecate. I think it was kind of like a mutual meeting of the minds. But she's been there, kind of in the background. I've watched some of her things. I've seen some of her story play out. And she recently, and you're going to find this is going to be really weird, especially for Hecatean such as myself, but she recently found the Christ consciousness. And she is always kind of, she had put a beautiful video out about her journey, and she fell into the Christ consciousness. Now, of course, she's been a great guide beforehand. She's given me a lot of information in the spiritual realm and helping me through a lot of hard times and guiding me with manifestations and things like that, and did different classes with her. And she's falling away from all of that. She's going away from all of this, from crystals and jewelries, for things, and, icons, of course, because of the Christ consciousness. Oh, that's hot. But, and she's kind of spurned a weird manifestation. I know it's always kind of been in there, and for my Hecatean fans, you're going to think it's a little bit strange, but, I think she's going to move off into family life now, is where I see her path going. She's finally going to be able to settle down. But for me, what this meant was she shined, because especially for my light journeys, an aspect that I wasn't expecting was the Christ energy, this powerful, powerful energy that I know is always there. It's always kind of scared me, which it does for most spiritual people. Sometimes it's a trigger, sometimes it's not. And recently I did a reading with this deck right here. You can go find it if I know how to figure out to do a card thing. It was just a short. It came out with the end of a messenger leaving, and that messenger was my friend. And I drew this deck. And it's one of these decks that I don't use. I did not connect with this deck at all. Whether I connect with this deck anymore or not, I shall see. However, I tried to give this deck, or Hera tried to take this deck. Whew, and yeah, Hera is not happy about it, but I took it back and gave it to this Christ consciousness. Now, I'm not going to say, yes, it's definitely Jesus. I kind of separate Jesus and God. So, you talk about the Holy Trinity. They're 3 separate things in my eyes. And of course, the God of Abraham scares the living crap out of me. Jesus never did. Jesus always came with love to me. And we've met on several occasions, me and Jesus, in different aspects, different ways. Not just, through living life, but through other workings and entity work and shamanic journeys and stuff, where we've just kind of said, we both have our paths, we need to go. Now, my working last night with the full moon energy was interesting. I had to cleanse myself off completely. Literally take a shower and scrub and get completely clean. And then I came naked. I literally had to strip off all my clothes, lock my door. I kicked every entity out of my space. I burned them out. I told them to leave. I kicked them. I did what I had to do to get rid of them, except Hecate. And I left an opening for this Christ consciousness. And I know some of you are going to go, oh my God, this is going to be a trigger. And it kind of is a trigger. And I'm not going to tell you that it's not. And Hecate told me to get naked, and so I did. And I built a boundary so nothing else could come in but me, Hecate, and this thing. And I kind of knew what was going to happen. I was going to open my soul up to Hecate, and I was going to do a kundalini, not a kundalini, but a chakra share with her. And actually, I did not draw the kundalini, but just for myself. Usually I draw kundalini from the earth and everything, but not last night. All of that was removed from my space. Even the earth was kind of interesting that I kicked off Mother Earth for this. And this is really, I don't know why I'm sharing it here. I'm going to have to type it up on for my big book on light journeying. But, and this reading will probably go into that light journey somehow. But Hecate, me and Hecate did our light share. She had taught me how to spin up like a star and get brighter. She took me through the vast void to the edge where the rainbow world is. The other side, you know, where the big entities work, like God and stuff, and the Christ consciousness and things. Christ consciousness is kind of like a bridge, kind of like me, where we're both fox spirits, and it bridges into this world and into the other. Hecate is the same, so I'm not surprised. But anyway, it's just kind of rambling on with that. But I burnt a candle for the working. Me and Hecate shared, and then the Christ conscious came in like a blanket over both of us, over our space that I was working, and I let it in a little bit. Not a lot, because I knew I would get burned out. It's too much for me to handle. It would burn me over like my friend burned her over, and my psyche and my ego couldn't handle said things. And this is the deck that I took back and am giving to the Christ consciousness. This is 2 other candles that didn't burn, which are very connected for that. I will save these for very special workings. And this is weird. This is the Holy Bible that my father gave me back long ago. He had this Bible for years, carried it for years to church when he had his Christ awakening, his Jesus, and he was never into formal religions that much until later on in life. I mean, literally in his 70s and 80s. But at about 50 or so, he went through this awakening of, you know, born again Christianity, and I understand him now a little bit more, and it's probably why I have this Bible that he gave me, in hopes that I would someday find Jesus and not reject him, because I had always kind of been a Taoist and something else. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off of, because this is beautiful stuff, you know, and I've read the Bible, you know. I'm not saying I never read it before, because there is a very magical power in there. But we're going to go ahead and just set this off to the side here, and we're going to do our reading. Now this is interesting. I thought I almost burnt my camera up, you know, doing this working last night. And so, you know, I literally has a little bit of melt marks on the lenses on the outside. It's not a very fancy camera. And this card is the card that was sitting right on top of my deck here. And I just drew it just to make sure my camera wasn't melted, and that I was still, you know, could actually still get a good, a little bit of a, you know, focus and stuff. Not that this camera's great. And interesting that this is the card that came out, which is the Devil card, which is Trapped card. And this is the main theme of this whole concept. And how this reading is going to play, how it's going to run out, I don't know. As you can see, I have no cards pre-drawn. All these decks have been shuffled and cleansed, you know, over sage and fire and wind and earth and all those things. So nothing is cleansed here. Everything is cleansed, but nothing is pre-done. So we're going to draw from something, and we're going to remove some of these decks. We're going to clear off the board here because it's going to be a big reading. And this is a deck specifically for Zeus. And I'm not getting that it's Zeus is going to be part of this, but we shall see. He might be. I can hear him screaming in my ear, you know. So, okay, Zeus, we'll leave you here for now. And as I expand, we'll move these things. So, this is us, right? Trapped inside a bubble, and literally I was inside a bubble in the working last night with this light laying like a huge blanket. And if any of you have ever encountered this Christ consciousness, or some of the really powerful beings like the God of An and stuff, and you know, the God of Abraham, if you experience these things and actually touch them in a spiritual sense, they are so vastly powerful that they outweigh you. And in my working last night, I was outweighed. It was like, you know, a blanket of snow laying on top of a pebble is how I felt my space was. And Hecate was inside my space. When we did the working and brought in this Christ consciousness to work with, and we laid ourselves naked to each other, we were both these naked entity souls. We stepped back and it felt so vastly small and insignificant to this huge blanket of energy. And Hecate actually held on to me, and I held on to Hecate like we were two, like just sisters or leaves in the wind, that we just grabbed on and hugged each other because we knew this was going to be so powerful. Hecate knew it was going to be powerful. And she knew that the Christ consciousness is bigger than she is. It is bigger than a lot of things. Think about the difference in how much energy and power goes into the God of Abraham and the Christ consciousness, then goes into Mother Hecate and all of her devotees and energy and things given. So of course we were like this, right? Now we got the devil card here, which is words spoken from outside, right? Words coming in, ideas and thoughts, and literally every step of the way of my working, anytime my ego came in, Hecate said, shh, time to be quiet, shut up, be quiet, stop thinking. The same, when I felt Hecate doing it, the same, I was like, Hecate, shh, stop thinking, it's time to be quiet, it's let this come. And a lot of times before I do any of my readings, that's what I do. I empty my brain and let it come. Sometimes I do a Kundalini updraw. Sometimes I don't. And sometimes I burn a bowl of sage, which last night I did. I burned sage, and the leftovers, the burnt embers, right? If somewhere in the Bible it talks about burnt embers, these are the burnt embers of roses and sage. In fact, I'm going to dump them right in my trash can because they are gone. Right? Put that back over where I'm not going to burn any for this reading. A couple other readings I did burn them out. I think I might even burn them out for the weird loss of a friend or a messenger reading. So I know this is very slow, and this is only really going to find, my channel's not very big. It's going to find just a few people out there, and I don't think anybody even watched my entire cycle reading, which, if I can figure out how to write, once again, put a card here, somehow you attach it into YouTube. But the cycle reading that I did was also like an hour and a half long or something crazy. It was a long, long reading that went on and on and on. I don't even remember what's in it anymore. It'd be kind of, you know, my readings, I do them, they come to me, and then I lose them and they go back out the door. So some of them are directly effective for me, like the weird one with the loss of messenger. And this one probably is, because it has a lot of weird connections here. So I probably will. I had to actually strip off all my jewelry, by the way, for last night's working. Even the pendant, which I don't know if I can get it on the screen because it's on my neck again. I don't know if I can. If I can lean up in here close enough. I can't do it. Anyway, it's a Hecatean wheel. I guess I can't get it on camera. Here, let me see if I can pull it off. You know, this, and this is rare. You know, in the last since I got this, in the last 5 years since a friend gave me this necklace, you know, I couldn't get the other way. A friend of mine gave me this, a good friend, which had problems, right? But I haven't taken this necklace off, right? This Hecatean necklace hasn't come off. In 5 years, I've had it off literally 3 times. One was recently for, I can't remember exactly why I was told to take it off. I think it was for when I was burning. It was the burning exercise that I just did recently when I cooked up fat bigger than a star and did some heavy light starting my journeys back in November. So just recently I took it off. And then once was last night when I was told to get completely naked. And once was just now when I took it off for all of you to show it on camera. And that is it. Literally, I've been wearing this necklace around my neck, rain or shine, showers, no matter what, around my neck as protection from Hecate. You know, it's one of those weird things. It's connected between me and her. And you've all seen it now, or the few that have seen this video. We have our evil eye protection, so whatever kind of malicious things, your severity from my Christians out there, from the severity you're going to try to push onto that necklace, it's protected. It's protected by the evil eye, which is not a lot. It's protected by Mother Hecate, and it's protected by the Christ consciousness. So you're probably not going to be able to destroy it, even if you wanted to. I know I have some weird friends out there that are in league with Lucifer, and they do the left-handed path stuff. And I'm not saying that they're wrong or anything. They're their own people. They can do what they want to do. They always view me as this angel, and they always want to tap me for energy when I meet those type of friends or acquaintances, however you want to call them. And I'm pretty sure one of them is probably going to watch this reading. I won't mention him, but he watches my readings from time to time, and he'll probably watch this, and this references directly to him that, yes, I did feel him trying to tap me. And I also had another recent try to tap me for similar type energies that, you know, and I know that's why they tried to hook to my recent friend all this energy, and I agree 100% with her. She calls it the new age hamster wheel is what she called it, and I agree with that 100%. There is this new age trap of the hamster wheel of love and light, and there's so many little traps into it. You know, let's go do shadow work can be a trap and a draw and an attraction. Don't get me wrong, I've been in that shadow world self myself, and I've been part of that trap. And the Christ consciousness is also a trap of sorts, right? A trap via bliss is still a trap. It's still a prison if you lose your freedom to think, your freedom to move. And will my friend ever watch this? Probably not. I don't think she even knows that I have a tarot channel. You know, so we'll see. Anyway, so this is us in this bubble. And if you're watching this reading, this is you in this bubble, inside this jar. This weird zone of pocket of reality outside of everything. And there's this consciousness around, you know. And which cards? What am I seeing? What am I drawing? Yesterday's draw was weird too. It was outside of this. It was let it go so I could, it was literally let it go so I could do this reading, so I could do last night's working. Which deck am I seeing? It's interesting. You know, I keep drawing these blanks. Okay. We are going to draw one of these, or some of these. This is that Light Striders deck that I drew a while, and this is the Christ Conscious deck. That when I need that energy is the energy that we're going to use. So, And this is interesting. We're going to draw these, and we're going to lay them across the top, and it's going to not be 3. I almost always draw things in 3s. I felt 4 to draw, and they're going to go across the top, and we're not going to reveal them until the end of the somewhere. I'm not sure if it's even at the end of this reading is when we're actually going to reveal these. So, and it's a message from the Christ consciousness that we're going to get. In fact, they're actually kind of a little bit right up off the top of the screen here. So let's do it this way. And these are the blanket. These are the things laying across us. That this giant energy, this huge, and I'm actually getting a feel for spin them, this huge energy, like a blanket of snow laying on top of our bell jar, is what these are. So it's this one. It just wouldn't spin. It's this one right here. Okay. So we're probably not going to draw any more of these, but we'll see. In fact, actually went like this. Is that going to fit on the screen? Cool. This is just my communication. I don't know where to put this, but I don't know. I'm going to put it over here past. You can hold on to it for a minute, right? So this is the snow blanket, the thing that's over top of us all, that's laying outside of our fields. It's this powerful thing. Hecate says, draw here. And this is not my Hecatean deck. I know a lot of you say, you know, I do have a deck specifically dedicated towards Hecate. Hold on now. You can all see the card that we're pulling, right? It's this one here, is this Page of Pentacles and Mother Earth, the Empress card. But she said we're not going to use her deck here, maybe for a different reading. And this represents us in this reading, or me in this reading. This is really odd, you know, that these two cards come out, you know, because the Empress card is this earth field, is this really powerful entity. Mother Earth is this Empress, is this all embodiment. It is a very strong card because this is Hecate Gaia, Hecate connected with the earth in this instant. This is Hecate in here. This is her as part of our working. And this is oddly interesting of a tarot reading because this is her in the bell jar with us. And this is us, the Page of Pentacles, little baby Earth, right? It's really odd that these two come together. This is us. We are the Page. We are this little teeny weeny itsy bitsy little messenger, little tarot reader or diviner. Even my friend, she was this little teeny weeny little thing, even though she was super strong and super powerful, much more than I ever was. And we're in the bell jar. We're in this jar together. We literally wrapped our wombs, our chakras. Look, holding in our hearts. We wrapped our hearts. We wrapped our wombs. We wrapped our faith. When we did our chakra meld, me and Hecate, we literally wrapped our souls together, intertwined into one entity kind of feel. And then we brought in the Christ consciousness to also wrap with us. And it was really, really hard. We could only take a sliver of it because it was very powerful. So this is interesting that we find us here in the bell jar. And I think we'll leave the bell jar here and we'll just put us trapped in the bell jar, right? Both of us. You and your goddess, you and whatever, your beliefs are trapped in the bell jar with this giant energy, whatever it is, over top laying on you. This is very weird. And where is this going? Where is this leading? What is this going towards? You know, this is just the representation of my freaking meditation last night. This is so weird. This is kind of a path that we're going, right? This one right here, whichever card it is, it's this little card trying to jump out the bottom, is our path. And look, it falls across us. So this is our path. that you and your goddess or your belief system is about to go through. This is your belief system. This represents my belief system. It represents your belief system inside the bell jar. This is outside of our belief system. And Neptune. I mean, this is unbelievable, right? Time for a spiritual retreat, right? The Hanged Man, right? The stepping back, the stepping away, right? Here, let me put my glasses on so I can actually read what the words say on the card. You know, I just went to the eye doctor and got some new glasses, not more readers, but dreams, inspiration, universal love. This up here is universal love, the Christ consciousness, psychic receptivity, awareness, oneness, enlightenment, and then we have other things, illusion, deception, and trickery, which are kind of the things that can come with this if you're not paying attention. But light of inspiration. So, I don't know where to put this. It's time for you. It's time for me. It's time for wherever this reading finds you. And it's probably not going to find you on December 4th, 2005. This reading might find you in 10 years from now on my channel, and it may not. But when you do find you, when this message is ready for you, it's time for a spiritual retreat. It's time to step back, and I'm not even sure what this means. Does this mean I'm going to stop doing my daily tarot readings for a little bit? I don't think so, because I think you all need that as much as I do. It's kind of my spiritual outlet. But it's time to step back from a lot of these belief systems, a lot of the illusions and deceptions and trickery that comes with the hamster wheel of the New Age. There's a lot of that there. And you need to step back into your Hanged Man inside of your spiritual belief system and really see what it is. And actually, one of the things that came to me from this whole situation, me and my friend, is that I'm very perceptive and I can trace things to their roots. And all of my spirit guides, each and every one, my friend said all of hers ran away like little demons and things. I don't know if that's a truth or just a perception she had, but I'm not willing to chase mine away in such a fashion unless they deserve it. So every one of my spirit guides, my angels, my demons, the gods and goddesses that all surround me, including Mother Hecate. Oh, she just said, oh, wait a minute. But she knows, and she accepts it because she's strong enough to understand it, and strong enough to understand my belief system is strong enough that I'm going to track her back to her inception, which I've already done in other workings. I've already tracked her back beyond the earth. You know, they talk about us being light beings and beings from out before Earth, and you could be a dragons and all these kind of things from like the Galactic Federation of Light, which I don't even believe in that, but it might be there. It doesn't really matter. I've tracked Hecate back past that and seen her inner soul, and she's tracked me back and seen my inner soul, and so I'll do it again, but I'm going to track my belief systems, all of them, all of my whatevers, and see their truths. See them for what they are. See them from where thence they came in their motivations. And those that do not serve me, do not serve the good of all, they're going to get the boot from my field. It's one of those interesting awakenings, and if it's going to take this Christ consciousness to burn them away because I'm not strong enough or Hecate's not strong enough, and I'm hearing Hecate saying the same thing. She's saying, I'm going to be there with you and do mine too. She has a lot of connections and interesting things, and she is not beyond the Christ consciousness. She actually led me here and said, we need to work on this together. And this is a very together working. Your belief system, if it can't accept this blanket of power. If it can't deal with these things, you should probably track it back. You need to take this spiritual retreat and track it back and see and understand and make sure it is strong enough. Because maybe it's not. Maybe you're not. A lot of times we're here because we're weak. A lot of times we believe in our belief systems because we've been marginalized, because we've been hurt, we've been wounded in so many ways, and so many traumas throughout life. And this beliefs come about because we need something. We need healing. We need things. And they're all can be crutches or whatever at the time. And you don't always, when you're done with the crutch, you're done taking your Tylenol, you stop. You don't need it anymore. It's time for you to take to the next step. And if your belief system comes with you to the next step, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If that makes sense. My friend's belief systems couldn't come with this. They burned away. She burned away. I kind of view her as a very powerful light entity, like a living star on the earth. She is so beautifully bright and white and light, and she tried to walk the rainbow path, the path where you have darkness and goodness combined, where you do shadow work and you do these things. And it wasn't for her. This burned all that away and brought her back to her lightness. And of course I still love my friend. I'm not going to demonize her or, get that, the hamster wheel of light. You know how you can tell your hamster wheel of light has problems? Is when you have these triggers. And don't get me wrong, I have triggers too. It's got problems. But when you have this instant trigger and then you got to spew it up, like throw up on the other person around you and tell them they're wrong, or instantly put up shields and defenses and have all this feel, that's how you know your system might have some issues. You're not in a position of beautiful strength. You're in a position of fight or flight mode, which means that you can't deal with something so immensely beautiful, so immensely powerful as the Christ consciousness, right? You'll never get to the rainbow world if you can't release our world. If you can't release Mother Earth, you'll never get to the rainbow world. You'll never get to here. And here is a beautiful thing my friend just pointed out. It's very beautiful. And it will bring you like a moth to a flame. There's a lot of moths stuck up here too, because they can't see. She's going to find in her movement, and I told her this is the hamster wheel of light, the hamster wheel of Christ consciousness, where they're blind and they can't see, and the light is so strong that they can't relate anymore. And they have the same throw up, the same blah from their belief system, that they're here and they got the same way. She's going to have to enter this zone. She's just getting there now. And she's going to have to be here with the rest of us with that belief system in the bell jar. And she's going to be on spiritual retreat just like me. She'll probably, like I said, she'll never see this reading because it's on a different channel. She doesn't even know this exists. Maybe she does. I don't know. She's very perceptive. But this message is for her as well. So I understand this system. And we're all in the spiritual, or need to, where this is a future step, the spiritual retreat. And it's on the cusp. If you're seeing this video, this retreat is on the cusp. I might even pull down all of my little other icons in here except for my altar to Hecate. And I'm going to get myself a most beautiful cross for this representation of the Christ consciousness. Not for God per se. Sorry, God. You and I know we have our problems, right? But I'll get a beautiful cross and I'll start wearing it. You know, my partner that I'm with now, who we've had so many problems, who actually started wearing a cross since we started having our problems, she will actually find it a weird shock that I will start wearing a cross. And I'm going to get it over this Christmas season, and I'll show you all when I eventually get it. I haven't looked, I haven't decided how I'm going to get it. If anybody out there who watches this has a suggestion for a beautiful cross, you know, I'm into glitz and glam. It's a stupidly, you know, unadorned. Sometimes simpleness can be beauty, but I'm definitely looking for something possibly white gold, platinum, 24 karat, you know, beautiful, high value. You know, I would say price is no object, but I don't think I can afford like $1 million cross, but I certainly don't want a 10-cent bubblegum machine cross. So I'll get something within my means that I will get, and it's going to be an honoring of this zone, and actually the honoring of the connection that I made with this zone last night. In fact, that's actually the next card, is the connection card, right? The thing that's connecting us. And which am I seeing here? Which deck is connecting? Interesting. You know, I have this other deck that I just purchased, like literally back in the new. I have to get up to get it. It's sitting over here. It's like sitting in front of me. You know, I purchased this deck. I have an actual spiritual CEO coach to help me get my spiritual business along, and it's called Below the Surface, and it's this like shadow work deck, a beautiful light language shadow work deck. Now, of course, this card on top is, I've got to journal this card, so I can't possibly draw this card again. But there's a bunch of things, and the deck is beautiful. I've talked about it before in some other video, but it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful deck, and it's about the ocean. It's an ocean deck, but it's about below the surface. And I mean, you always gotta look at this, look at the beautiful cards. But okay, and so the deck comes with journals and everything, but I'm not gonna plug my psychic coach, you know, is decks, but she makes the beautiful decks. But this is the connection card, and this is what's gonna connect our spiritual retreat, our bell jar, into the Christ consciousness. Now, you're going to ask, well, where are you getting this stuff? Where am I digging this reading up? Where am I laying my cards from? They're coming straight through with divine inspiration. And look at this card. I mean, I didn't even look at the outside of this card, but this is the card of connecting, right? Two things. Before I even flip the card, look at the card connecting one to the other inside of this circle. I mean, is that on the outside of this box? No. So this is a very powerful thing, and let's flip it over and see what we got. Common octopus, and I'm going to put my glasses on again for this, and I may not read the book. Solve any problem. The card number 4, most interesting 4, and octopus, lines, strings. Your mind is your most significant advantage. And this is our connection card, so I'm going to set this here. So this is a very interesting, it's an octopus, and it says the common octopus. So this is not something special. This is not something outside that's magical, that's so beautifully intricate and woven and done. It's simple. Connections, 4 connections to be exact, from your belief systems are going to have 4 connections into this zone. And it's simple connections. It's something, a direct connection. And it has to do with, they talk about solving problems. And this is going to solve many, many of your problems. And I would say because you're watching this, you have problems. No, everybody has problems. Nobody is free of problems in this world. And in fact, that's part of the gift of this planet, is for us to have problems, is for us to be able to have these things and to solve them and to move through them. That's how we get through karma. That's how we rebirth ourselves into higher lives. That's how we go to heaven or wherever your next step is. You know, Valhalla, if you're from that, you know, belief system. Or, you know, I don't know what they call the place where the Islamic people go, where you have all the little virgins, you know, around you, with the 40 virgins and stuff. But there, right? It's a simple, and it's always simple. Sometimes a lot of heckin' hard work, but it's always very simple. The biggest, hardest things are simple. They're common. They're easy issues. They take work, but they're easy. They're in your face. They're right there before you. So inside your spiritual retreat, you're looking for 4 things. Connections. 4 branches of connections, right? And those 4 branches are here. They're going to connect to here. And I'm seeing draw the 4 branches. Where am I drawing them from? They're saying 4 decks. This deck off the tops. Okay. I heard no, shuffle them. Branch. That's one of the paths you must do. No, it says use the card that was left behind. Branch. That's one of the branches you must use. That is one of the branches we must use. And the last one. Interesting. I'm seeing this deck. Pastel Journeys. It's another lovely deck. But this is the last branch we must use. And it's outside of your... These branches, you know. This branch will be a little bit outside of your normal lines of communication, your normal spiritual paths. Whatever it is. It's this one. This is the branch we must use. Okay. So this is different. I'm telling you, this reading is getting very... We might draw cards on these 4 cards. I don't know. Like I said, I see Zeus being pissy, but he's just not part of this reading. He's outside of this reading. And me and Zeus, I'm not a devotee of Zeus. I owe him favors, and I will honor those favors. Zeus, believe me, I will honor your favors, whatever they are. You saved me from a lot of crap. You broke something very important that needed to be done. You get them. I owe you 2 more. I owed him 3. I already gave him 1. I owe 2 more. Okay, Zeus, there's your little spiel. Okay, now these are the branches that go to each of these. So we're going to do these one at a time. So what's the best way to do this? Let's put the branches on top of the cards. Where am I going to set these? I'm going to set these, I think we're just going to set them up here. Right. The branches up along the top, out of the way. And we're going to put this aside. This is important with the connections. But now we're going to work on each branch. So where am I going to put this? I don't know. We're going to put it here, Zeus. You can hold us for a minute. Okay. So he said, "Thank you." We feel a little special there. You know, you stroke a guy's ego, and they bristle, right? So the connection, the Knight of Swords. So this is interesting. I instantly got, you are the knight, right? And this Knight of Swords is almost like there's someone arguing at you. You are not the one arguing. You are the one, like a page who just is about to go out on your first journey, right? To pick up that sword. This is knowledge. This is information, right? There's even a little candle here. This candle's very important. Burn a white candle. This, you're going to need to burn a candle for this branch. Don't ask me why, but you're going to need to burn a candle, and you're going to need to have a pitcher of water. But this whole concept is that you need to branch into this mind, this thing, whatever it is, this connection is, which is the branch, but it's like, it's your first rodeo. It's your very first day out as a knight. You're scared. You're worried. You're looking at this big, massive sword in front of you like, oh my God, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I'm worried. I'm about to go out into the world and slay a dragon. And shit, there's a bunch of people yelling at me. There's a bunch of people telling me I'm crazy. They're pointing fingers at me. They're screaming in my ear. They're not helping me. They're hurting me. They're screaming. They're making it worse for me. And you're going to have to overcome that. You're going to have to say, I'm going anyway, despite the people yelling, despite all the negativity saying, you're crazy. You know, if you're a New Age light worker, you're going to have your New Age light worker friend saying, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Christ consciousness crap. We're going to yell at you. We're going to reject you. Or if you're a New Age Christ conscious, you might have, the Christ conscious people might have the New Agers doing the same thing, yelling at you, telling you what you're wrong. That's all just blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, that is just noise. Something you're going to have to overcome is the noise. And let's see where it goes. The Wheel of Fortune. Oh, you know, look at this card. The Wheel of Fortune. The doves. Holy Spirit. It's going to be a journey. A journey of beautiful, beautiful. Even the doves, the birds are messing. Are they doves? Wait a minute. Let me put my glasses on. These finely detailed cards like this are very hard to see. I mean, you can see the difference, right? This card, the pictures are very easy to read and understand. This card, the pictures are very detailed, and there are things here that are hidden, right? But we look at this Wheel of Fortune, and I think they're not doves. They're some other type of beautiful, beautiful bird. I would almost say like a female peacock, but I'm not quite sure. But they're beautiful, right? And we got the feathers in the bottom. So I think they're female peacocks, which is different from the male peacocks, by the way. Hera says the male peacocks are the ones I use. Great. So, but this is a very powerful religious card, and it uses signs, right? Even in the wheel, there's signs, there's magic in the runes. And it's like the Wheel of Life. It's a beautiful, beautiful light that you were once in. You've been there. You've seen this light. Whether it was this life or the last life or the life before it, you saw this light. You were in it. You left it. You came back. You left it. It's a cycle of things that you've done in your field. And it's part of the Christ conscious power. And that in and out, that cycle, the pump, like a wheel moving forward in this wheel of life, is strength and power. You need the downs to have the ups, and you need the ups to have the downs. And that's where the Christ conscious people are blind most of the time. They're all up. That's where some of the New Age hamster wheel people, they're all up. They never have any downs. They're all ignoring the downs. So this is your message to go out. Go out inside of that hermit spiritual mode. Somehow you're going to go out and feel all of this wheel, all of life. And it's something majestically beautiful. And there's far more to it than that. And I can't tell you how your spiritual journey is going to go, by the way. This is just a roadmap. This is just a way kind of to get there. There's so much here for you that's, I could do a reading for 20 years long, and I might be able to touch this here. 20 years straight video coming out. So you're the one who's going to find the end of these journeys. You're going to find what this wheel is. And you're going to need to go out despite the naysayers, despite the people who are against you, right? Inside your spiritual belief system, inside your spiritual retreat you're about to take, and you need to take one. Whew. I need to burn off of that. Okay, here is our next of the 4 tentacles, of the 4 paths, the 4 branches inside your spiritual retreat you need to take. Interesting. This is a very shadow card. Enter at your own risk. You're going to be afraid. Right? Pause. Stop. Fear. Shadows. You're going to be afraid of this one. And it's going to be scary. And enter at your own risk, which means it's not safe. It won't be safe. There will be dangers to you. I wouldn't say necessarily physically, but maybe. But the dangers are going to be in your soul. It's going to be leaps of soul things. Things within your soul is going to scare you. And it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be, you could be destroyed. Long ago in the spiritual journey, you think, oh, I can't get hurt. My soul is immortal. What is it? The whole Harry Potter concept. You can't destroy the soul. Except for Lord Voldemort figured out a way to destroy his soul, right? You can't do it. You can do it. You can cause damage. You can be destroyed permanently. I've seen souls destroyed permanently. You can damage your karma on levels that you can't even imagine. This is the warning. This is a path of danger. Is it a path you need to take? Probably. But it's going to scare, and you might need a guide. You might need a sister to hold your hand. I have Hecate. She's going to hold my hand through whatever the hell this is. And guess what? We're going to bear each other. And we're going to enter at our own risk. We might be destroyed together. You might be witnessing the time Hecate goes down, because me and her are going to march into whatever the hell we're going into. And here's what we're going to. The reverse of temperance, right? We had temperance, which is this balance card. It came out in reverse. It's a storm. We have to enter the storm. This melee of energy and power. Wow, I could just feel the hair. If you can see it, the hair on my arm just all stood up. This melee of conflicting powers and energies way beyond anything we can possibly handle. Burnout mode is take a light bulb, designed for 120 volts at like 10 amps or something, and hit it with 50,000 volts and a lightning bolt with 10,000 amps. This storm is going to be super, super strong. It is going to be chaotic, destructive, powerful. It needs to be done. Whatever that storm is, whatever that power center is, and I can see that easily from the Christ consciousness, because it is so powerful. It is so severe. That's why the light side is severity, because it is powerful. It can burn you. It can blind you so easily. It doesn't take away your eyes and make it so dark that you can't see. It takes your eyes and burns them so they can never see again. That is why the light side has scared me for so long. And why the Christ consciousness scares the living shit out of me. This is why it does. You know, and it's something you have to face. It's something you have to enter at your own risk. And the risk is your immortal soul. Whew, I really need to burn off of that one. I gotta blow some wind past me, you know. I'm scooping wind. I don't know why I'm scooping that energy past me. I need to scoop some wind. And my voice is cracked and burnt out so long ago, guys. I don't even know where we're at in this reading. I hope it's still recording. You know, it'd be funny if my damn video stopped recording halfway through this thing. No, we're still recording. We're already at an hour. This is funny. Yeah, this is a long one. You know, my friend produced her video. The longest she ever did was like 2 hours long. This might be it. This might be my 2-hour video. So let's continue on. I know there's a lot of blob in here. So this is our next path that we need to go, that we need to take in our spiritual journey, the next connection. Dump him. Let it go. Interesting. The graphic tee, right? Actually, this every time I turn on my work and I look up Amazon, the dump him shirt comes up. I should probably buy one. I wanted to get him one. I wanted to get myself one forever that says dump him. You're going to release something inside of your spiritual journey. There's going to be some type of spiritual release that you don't want to get rid of. There was a song that came out about, you know, I love my boyfriend, but I love this other guy's like this thing of beauty that I'm so infatuated with. There are things inside of your spiritual field, and my friend can attest to this, that's like this, I love you. You're so beautiful. You're so handsome. You're so whatever. I'm infatuated with you. I've got to be with you. And this is the card that says you're going to have to release that and go with the reality of the boyfriend. Now, is all this leading to go join Jesus? I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe me and Hecate will join Jesus together. I don't know where this leads. I don't know where it's going to lead for you. But I can tell you, you're going to have to release some of the infatuations, some of the icons, some of these connections with your angel guides. They're going to have to go away. These angel guide connections, your icon connections, your connections possibly to the torches, right? To mercy and severity. You might have to release those. You might have to release your evil eye protection. I don't know. But it's going to have to be released to get to this step. Rebirth, right? The death card. And you all know that these readings can't possibly be faked. You saw me shuffle them, right? Each of these cards are like power cards. I don't know if this one is, but these three are all like major arcana, major power cards, major whatever. The death is the rebirth card, is to be born again card. And let's really look at this card. I put my glasses on because there's more to this card than just rebirth and death. As we look at this card, we see transformation inside of this card, right? We see different phases of death. And if you've explored death, I'm a psychopomp, and I've explored death and helped others pass through. But look at the card. There's many phases, many transformations inside of death, and there'll be many deaths. It's not going to be just one. You don't die just one time. If you believe in reincarnation, you've died hundreds of times. You've been around a long time, especially if you're watching this reading, you've probably been around a long time like myself. And you've been alive, you've been dead, you've seen things, you've come from places beyond the earth, and you've been alive there and died there as well. And you've killed things, you've destroyed things like I have. My soul is not innocent. I've destroyed things, just like Mother Hecate has destroyed souls. I have destroyed, you know, in other lives, I've destroyed civilizations and planets of inhabited beings in the wars of galactic lights or whatever they want to call them. I was one of the powers that destroyed everything. So was Hecate. We have that in common. And I understand death. You know, in Buddhism, they talk about seeing your own death 10,000 times as step number one, or one of the steps to enlightenment. I have seen that. I have done that step. I exist inside of this transformation and death thing. And you're going to have to lose some of the glitz and glamour of your New Age hamster wheel, of your Christ wheel, consciousness, Christ consciousness wheel. You're going to have to lose some of that to be reborn. And it's not going to be easy. This is another one of the branches. And a lot of you, you know, this is very big in the New Age thing, is this rebirth crap, right? This rebirth thing. So this is not, by the way, entering into the melee to where you could be utterly destroyed is generally not something that we like to do. Now, understanding the wheel of life and having to enter anyway, that's understandable. Now our last one, let me burn this energy off, this death, rebirth, letting it go, remanifesting yourself, retransformation card. This is not just about death, it's about the transforming into something, the next step, whatever that is, right? And by the way, this is only one of the steps within inside of your spiritual journey. These 4 connections, this spiritual retreat that you're going to go through, is one of the steps of your spiritual beauty in life that you're going to go through. It's not the end. And it's not even the beginning, because you've been through a lot to get here. You're about to go through a lot more. And there's going to be steps beyond this. And what they look like, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a reading on it someday, right? So this is our last step. Our last tentacle of the spiritual retreat we're going to go through. We're going to have to do. The Ace of Swords, right? It's another ego card. It's the death of the king, the death of the queen, stabbed through the start of this thing. It's not winning the crown. It's not, I almost say it could be taking the crown. Hello everybody, I am back. I am sorry for the interruption. It probably won't look as bad on camera, but I was right in the bit of working with these cards and my computer said disk full. So I had to spend the last like half hour or so moving files into my storage backup because my terabyte on the computer's filled, the terabyte of my backups are filled. So I had to play jockey files around to make enough space so I could get this video saved and then make the rest or the final portion of it here. And I'm not even quite sure where we're at, so we're just going to go ahead and restart. I'll probably jockey around inside the editing mode on my editing software. Now you all know I don't like to cut and paste and stop videos, so forgive me. I'm so sorry that my disk ran out of space and I had to actually stop and cut it right here. So let me get myself back into this reading. Wait, put my voice stuff in there, drink a little bit of tea, you know. Okay, so we were working on the bridges, right? From your spiritual journey, the spiritual retreat you need to take with you and your spiritual system. You need to take a retreat, and it needs to work into this vast Christ consciousness within inside of this spiritual retreat. And this is one of our bridges, right? The Ace of Swords. Now, I'm not sure where the video left off. So I get this, you know, feel of the sword energy, this kind of like stabbing through or taking the crown, kind of the system, the start. This is like a start. And, I think I might have mentioned it in the other portion, who knows, but I got the Sailor Moon vibe, Sailor Galaxy or whatever, Universe, I can't remember. There was a couple of them in there that I like better than Sailor Moon, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, so we are, this step, this tentacle, this connection in, it's going to feel like a beginning and very kind of royal, noble step of stabbing and taking the power. So you're going to have to make an effort. It is not going to just fall in your lap. This consciousness, this power, you're going to have to take a step and move into whatever this is. So you're going to have to, and this is with inside of your guides, with inside of your messages, especially with the swords energy, this thing, there's a lot of swords here. There's a lot of this type of move with inside of your own ego and everything. Even the bell jar in the beginning was this kind of almost like mentally trapped a little bit. So this movement, this first step, this action you're going to have to do is going to lead you right to the Three of Swords, which, interesting. So here's the action, and here we're moving into the Three of Swords, and I drew this card the other day with the same reading. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see it. And this is upright. This is about the death of messengers, the death of things inside of your own heart, right? And we know we're going to change, right? With Let It Go. We know it's going to be a melee. This is spiritual systems, your spiritual systems, maybe, other spiritual parts of what it is, your spiritual system, right? This is about some of those spiritual systems are going to have to go away for you inside of this Christ consciousness, because it's not going to accept it. They talk about it burned off. Even my friend talked about it. All of her little whatevers ran away. And if your spiritual system's strong enough, if you are strong enough, it won't run away. But there are peripherals. There are things within inside of the New Age hamster wheel that don't compute. They don't work. They, people have tried them and they don't work. My friend talked about ayahuasca and it didn't work. She learned and then it didn't help. She talked about, Reiki and, working her Kundalini and energies that didn't work for you. I'm not saying that these things aren't going to work for you with inside of this consciousness, because I don't think Christ is so limited and the consciousness is so limited that it's going to eliminate things that could work. It's not going to do that. It's going to let things work that should, cut back some of the illusions, right, that we have here, cut back some of the illusions and deceptions, cut them back, and it's going to eliminate them. It's going to stab them, and it's going to actually hurt you, and you're going to feel some of the pain of the loss of these, just like I feel the pain and loss of my friend who fell to this Christ consciousness, just like some of you will feel the loss of me a little bit when I go through this. I'm going to go through this, whatever you say, because I'm strong enough to do it. I'm strong enough to stand against all of these negative voices. I'm strong enough to do it. I think you are too, to do it. I think you are strong enough to risk everything. Risk your very immortal soul is what this is. You're risking it all. You're risking more than just this life. You're risking every life you've had before. You're risking your immortal soul to do this. you're going to go through some massive transformation, right? You're going to get rid of so much crap. And this is talking about those spiritual pains, those deaths, because they're not something, let's assume that, I don't know which one, let's say Hera, right? I love Hera to death. She is one of my spiritual guides. She's not my main spiritual guide, because we all know that's Hecate, but she's one of the spiritual guides. And she might be one of the ones that die here. I hope not. By God, I hope not, because I love her to death. And she has led me through so many things. That's one of the things I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose my Kundalini and Psychopomp work. I don't know, though. Those might have to go away. I doubt it, but they might. And some of the things will go away. Some of the things I don't need will go away, and they will be painful inside of this. And this might be something as simple as friends, your spiritual guides, some of the real people in your life, some of the YouTube channels you watch, some of the people who give you advice. They might have to be speared. They might have to be destroyed or be painfully removed with swords through their hearts out of your heart. Disconnect. They talk about cord cuttings and things. You might be doing some of those through this, because it's a new beginning. It's a whole new system, this whole new restart you're going to go through to get here. And I want to beat a dead horse to, beat a horse to death, or whatever you want to call it. Beat a dead horse to death, right? The horse is already dead. But this is this path, and it's not meant for everybody. I know some of you, in fact, probably only one or two of you have watched the entire video, right? And if you have, I bless you. Thank you so very much. Look, we even get the little hearts there. We get some love. I send some love to you for watching my entire video. It does help out small content builders like myself, but some of us going through this, and you're going to say, this girl's crazy. This person is crazy, right? Some of you won't even acknowledge that, that feel of that. But the Christ consciousness is at your doorstep. It's actually blanketed over everything around you. You are in that bell jar, and you are trapped inside of the bell jar, inside of the New Age hamster wheel, and it's time to expand beyond it. And you have core beliefs, and they're going to expand with you if you and those beliefs are strong enough to get through this. And some of you might go like my friend, might just join the Christ consciousness and everything else burn off and there's nothing left. I personally think she's going to, because she kind of doppelgangers through all the New Age spiritual hamster wheel, the Christ consciousness is going to be part of the doppelganger. She's going to have to get through. She's going to have to wave through this. And she's going to mellow down in this. Now, I'm coming at it from a different say in this of working within your spiritual, New Age spiritual self, your Hecatean love into this. Because, even she said it. And that all of these little entities, ascended masters, angels, demons, whatever you want to, they're spiritual guides. All of them around you tap this Christ consciousness and use it to help. And now she, of course, denounces that, because they just manipulate this stuff, they're not the real deal. They are using it and making it accessible to you in a form, a way that you can understand it and deal with it. So I'm not saying I'm denouncing your guides and saying they're going to run off like little demons and things and leave you. They might. Some of them will. But what I'm saying is that they have used this. Hecate has used this. Zeus, Hera, any of the guides, your angels, even, guides like Hades and demons, even, you look at, I don't want to say his name, but the other guy who they always blame everything on, the Christians blame everything on, right? That entity uses the Christ consciousness manipulated into something that his followers can understand. Now, is it good? Does it work for you? Does that work for you? I don't know. I know that system doesn't work for me. I can't even say the name, so I know it doesn't work for me. So, and your system might be like mine, like Hecate. We are like just a little bubble inside this thing. And I understand. She understands, right? I get it. She gets it. She's my guide. And we're going to work through this system. We're going to work through this Christ consciousness together. I'm going to hold her hand, and she is going to hold my hand, and maybe it will be a Thelma and Louise moment that we blow each other to bits and drive off the edge of a cliff, but we're going to do it anyway, because it needs to be done for our souls, not just my soul, but Hecate's soul as well. It's about working with a personal goddess that they are with you. They are going to experience everything with you. They're not beyond you. They are your friends. They are your guides. And they understand, especially the ones that aren't all pompous and overboard and I'm all that shit. They are going to get their hands dirty when you get your hands dirty, and you're going to work your way through this blanket. Blanket of Christ consciousness. So, is there anything else that needs to be said here? Let me look inside. I'm kind of burnt out. I'm really towards the edge of this reading, and let me see. Is there anything else? I see none of the cards, none of the decks. However, I do see, and this is going to be weird for everyone at the end of this thing, I see the Bible. And I see myself flipping through the pages and reading something. Where I'm going to land, I love the Old Testament, more than the New Testament when I read it. And I don't know where we're going to end out. It's kind of interesting. We got the golden boss thing, like a lot of my favorite cards. So we're going to open up to a passage. And I'm seeing it right here. So whatever it is, we're going to read this. I definitely need my glasses for this because they wrote it so small. And we're on 25 Leviticus. And beats the crap out of me what it's going to say. And it's your take, and I don't know if I'll read the whole thing. It looks like it goes on for a few pages, but I'll read at least the first little verse or something that stands out. Yeah, 25 is pretty long. It is at 25. Hold on. Yes, it's in the 25, and it's over here. And we're going to read something right over here. Then you shall cause the trumpet of Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month, on the day of anointment. You shall make the trumpet to sound throughout all your land. And you shall consecrate the 5th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land, all its inhabitants. It shall be jubilee for you, and each of you shall return to his possession, and each of you shall return to his family. So that's a message, and I might actually start doing spiritual messages from random pieces in the Bible, because that was very, very powerful. If you look at the spiritual implications of that, that is our 10th day. And in fact, I think the 10th, where did I see it? Where did I see the 10th? It's in here somewhere. We drew the 10th card. The Wheel of Fortune has the 10 in it, right? The 10th day, this jubilee, this is going to be a jubilee. This is going to be your finest hour, or one of them in your life, when you go beyond. And I know that was weird. I know some of my watchers will go, what the F? But I love you all so, so much. I love you. Take care. And if you want to comment below, if you want to share your journey, if you want to join me on this journey, I am working on a place. I will put you up with a room. We can cry. We can run through this journey together if we have to. You know, we'll do it together. I know I'm going to do it with Hecate. She's going to be partly there with me. Actually, she's going to be fully there with me. Not just partly. She's going to be fully there with me, going through this jubilee into the Christ consciousness and accessing it and using it. And then I'm going to do what I can, as every ascended master, as every angel can. I'm going to put it in a format that's going to come back out and touch all of you to where it needs to go. I love you all. Goodbye.